It's the Career Seeker Show live on WPPM FM 106.5 Philadelphia. As I told you, we are back with Kimberly S. Reed, certified diversity practitioner, the corpreneur. Did I pronounce that right? Managing partner and CEO of Reed Development Group. She's developed a reputation as having one of the most distinct and powerful voices on the lecture circuit. Her lioness tone and inspiring sincerity can empowers audiences on topics ranging from diversity and inclusion, organizational leadership, entrepreneurial leadership, professional and personal development, and presentation skills. But most of all, what you guys need to know is I spent some time working with Kimberly, and she can come to the office in Gucci flip-flops,
yes,
and sunglasses,
yes,
and then drop an awesome lecture. It's like, it's so unbelievable. You're like, okay, this lady with the Gucci flip-flops and the sunglasses just came in here and really dropped something on us. So, ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you to the one, the only, Kimberly Reed. What's going on, my friend?
What's going on? How you gonna do that type of intro?
See, that's how he does though.
You know, I feel like I need to come in the room, like, you know what I mean, Tiffany. I need to come in the room like on some music. You know what I mean? Like on some theme music.
We could have arranged that. We could have arranged
like,
that.
Yeah.
Next time you come, there will be a next time.
Oh,
we got you.
Okay.
We got you.
Yeah. That's great. I'm so happy to be here, and I've got to say this, Ken. I'm so happy that you are doing this. Your voice needs to be heard.
Thank you.
I love it. Sis Tiff,
thank you.
I love what you all are doing. I listen to you all often. I am so happy about Women's History Month.
Yes.
That is almost coming to a close. The most powerful month of the year.
Right.
You know,
right.
outside
Next
Black
up, I was
History
gonna say right
Next
now.
up, Black History Month. Let me correct that real quick.
I appreciate that.
Yes, because you all are doing big things, and I'm proud of you. And thank you all for having me. I'm excited to talk to you. And you know what, Ken? I need something. I need something. I'm not even gonna talk about. We'll talk about that another day.
Okay.
Porsche sunglasses.
All right.
You know, I was actually Will he does have sunglasses here because I said the stars are going to shine when Kim comes in the building. So you might need to put them sunglasses on because it's bright, man. It's unbelievable.
I see that. I see the energy. I can feel it. I can feel it in the room.
Oh, you feel it? Oh,
bouncing off the wall.
Well, thank you very much.
I got to step it up.
So I'm in a. I think I was in. I must have been in a. I was in a ride share, right? So I was coming. It was. When did I call you? It was like the day of the snowstorm, right?
Yeah.
Sure so I called Kimberly before I leave the house, right? And I say, listen, let me leave a message for Kim and kind of let her know what I'm trying to. Well, I didn't even tell you what I wanted. I just left a message like, can you give me a call? Yeah. So I'm in the ride share, and somebody else is in there with me, and Kim calls me, and I can't turn it down when I'm speaking to Kim. So I'm in the car with somebody, and I'm like all over the place and laughing and talking with Kim. And I said, well, I know they probably think, who is this crazy guy that thinks he's really important? Talking about arranging something for his radio show. It was. No, listen, I know they really were like, who? I bet you they were like, who is he? Because I really thought I was somebody because I was speaking to Kimberly Reed and arranging her slot on the show. We are so happy to have you. I just wanted you to come out and speak to the listeners. As I told you during that initial conversation, you have a story to tell, not even your personal story, but just the way you support entrepreneurs, the way you support diversity and inclusion, not only in this city, but I see you at Howard University. Know what? Let's just
Morton, Villanova.
Right.
I mean, all over the place.
Exactly.
I love that.
So what? Actually, let's just get this off the table right now. There's an event going on Friday in Connecticut that I had to see on your Twitter.
Yes.
They're honoring 100 women. And really, it's only 99 because Kimberly Reed is the one that makes it an even 100. I'm seeing Gail King on this list.
Wow.
I'm seeing Kimberly Reed.
I'm honored.
Are you kidding me?
I'm honored.
You know I would have came to Hartford for that.
I
would have held you down. You know I would have held you down. That is big. Yes,
I appreciate that so much, and I tell you, so many people like you said, like my good friends like yourself said, Kim, why didn't you tell us? It's hard because, it's in Connecticut. If it was in Philadelphia, no problem. But I know you're from New York. And
Tiff is from Long Island.
So
we can get to Connecticut.
So easy for you all. Yes. But, listen, I'm so humbled. I'm so honored. Shout out to June Archer, who does this every year. He recognizes 100 women of color that are doing some extraordinary things in their community, and they're really blazing the trail for women in leadership, entrepreneurship. I have the honor to be honored with 99 extraordinary women. Ken mentioned it, like Gail King, right? You know, you've got Dr. Deborah Archer, who I went to school with in Windsor, Connecticut. We went to Clover Street School Elementary together.
Shout out to Clover Street.
You know what I'm saying? Windsor High School. I mean, you know, my Link sisters. I mean, just so many great women that are doing it, moving it, shaking it, moving it. And we're going to be honored on Friday night. So it's funny because my day on Friday is this. I leave my house at 5:30 in the morning because I got to drive to Brooklyn. Shout out to Brooklyn. Because I have to go. I'm speaking at LIU.
Okay,
And I'm doing in partnership with Howard University. We are doing a leadership summit, and then I'm off to Connecticut to hang out with my best guy, my dad, who's going to be my date for the gala. And we're going to go, and I'm going to accept the award, and then, you know, back to Philadelphia on on Saturday, after I make sure Dad is good and, you know, the house is clean, because, you know, my dad told me it was, but, you know, we'll see.
Well, you know, so I would imagine that there's a big party Saturday that she left that part out too.
Maybe.
No.
But I want to talk. She's gonna be partying because so that's why she's staying in Connecticut.
Okay.
No, I'm not. I'm out. I gotta come
But
back.
she's staying there Friday night and coming back Saturday.
Yeah,
that's
Saturday
what,
morning,
the
because
the party is Friday night. That's what. That's
I
what.
mean, I talk to June about that.
So let's talk about what it. So you've done so many amazing things in your career, and you are being honored for some of the work that you're currently doing, and you call you the CEO builder, right?
Powerful, very
and
powerful.
that says a lot. And I know you worked in corporate America, and you also you have your own business. So talk a little bit about some of the work that you are doing right now that is work that builds communities, that builds entrepreneurs, and builds up women in business.
Sure. So I spent 15 years in corporate America before transitioning to entrepreneurship. I've had the opportunity to work with some of the brightest people on the planet who have put deposits in me and who have put lasting and valuable tools in my toolbox. And one thing I will do is I will tell any woman, I will tell any person that is sitting in a corporate seat right now is to network, is to work hard, take it to the max every day, but do not forget to pick your head up and look to the left and look to the right, because those relationships, those sponsors, those mentors are going to build you and help you build and prepare you for the next chapter. And for the next chapter, that was for me, that was entrepreneurship.
Gotcha.
So, you know what I'm saying? So I needed to lay that foundation, because what we do and what I do, what I'm allowed to do is partner with great universities like Howard, like Wharton School of Business for their summer programs with graduate students of color, and really working with them to identify their leadership qualities, right? To identify their talents and to build their confidence and self-esteem. Because when you walk into those corporate doors, it's a tough place to be. It's a great place to be, but it's a tough place to be, and it's a tougher place to be as a person of color.
Absolutely.
No question.
Absolutely.
So my role, and I've always been an advocate for women and people of color in business, in corporate America. So really it's real simple, Tiffany. And Ken, what I do is I share all the tools, all the wisdom, all the experiences, and give them back. Because my cup runneth over.
Yes.
Right? So instead of letting it runneth over
to nothing,
right, or pour it out, I pour it to someone else. And that's what I've been doing.
So when that is like the idea of giving back. It's almost what you are tasked to do in an indirect and a direct way. When someone is giving you something, you give it back. When you talk about the tools that have been put in your toolbox and some of those things that you give back, what's an example of one of the most important tools that someone needs to take? You mentioned networking and relationship building, but another one that someone needs to have in their toolbox if they're to be successful, either in business or in business on their own or corporate America.
The most successful people are a brand.
Mm.
So, what does that mean? The most successful people are a brand. What is your brand? Social media is it, right? Ken is shaking his head because he talks about this in his powerful workshops as well. We are social media, right? One misstep on social media and you are done as a professional. So if you look at the most successful people in corporate America, in America today, they are a brand. So you have to be very mindful of how you want to navigate through life, professionally and personally. And they do commingle.
They do.
Yes, indeed.
So people get this very wrong.
Talk about it.
They
Talk
commingle.
about it.
I will tell you, I'll give you a quick example. I never take a picture with a glass of wine in my hand, ever.
Mm.
I'll put it down. I will stop all presses before I put it down. Because you have to. Because I work with clients. I work with global organizations. So, yes, people think I have reached a level of success. And I'm proud that I have. But I need to continue to keep climbing. So in order to be able to do that, people have to want to invest in you. So they're investing in a brand, right? And they're investing in something that you deliver. So if you have instability in those two things, your brand and what you deliver, who is going to buy you?
It's
Woo! Let me go. Wait a minute.
I'm
Let me my mind sound nice. Check one.
It's the Career Seeker Show live on
My
WPPM FM 106.5 Philadelphia.
The
Who else
energy
does it
is
like
in the
this?
building. The energy is in the building.
Who else does it like this? Kimberly S. Reed, one of the top 100 women out here doing her thing, getting ready to receive an award out in Connecticut. Kim, I know you're speaking about brand and kind of, how you position yourself out here. But your networking is one of the things that I really, really admire about you. And everybody's really busy, but you manage to squeeze a lot into a 24-hour day. So do you have any advice for our listeners regarding networking and kind of just how to even manage or how to create a network? You've actually set up organizations here in Philadelphia that are geared towards networking. Like you kind of repositioned and rebranded that whole Urban League Young Professionals and made it Next Philadelphia.
Yes. So shout out to Next Philadelphia because sure. Jasmine Senior's doing some big things as the president of Next Philadelphia
Jasmine.
right
She's
now.
great.
It's my girl.
Jasmine, if you're listening, holla at me. We need to get you down here.
Yes.
We really do. I'd love to have a conversation with you here on the Career Seeker Show. Let's do it.
Absolutely, because I was just with her on Saturday. Okay. Comcast and Urban League of Philadelphia, we did our diversity summit. I spoke to over 50 bright young people, so she's doing her thing for sure. And I love it. I love the art of giving back. And I will tell you, when I was president of the Urban League Young Professionals, shout out to Monica Birch, who is my vice president. You got to have a good vice president, I'm telling you, to make things happen. And so we had to rebrand the organization. We changed the name. Matter of fact, Jasmine won the raffle 2 Southwest airline tickets because she won the name change contest.
Really?
We are next because of her.
Oh, okay.
The Network of Extraordinary Talent. So, so we had to rebrand the organization and we had to bring back the importance of networking to young people. Because I think what happens is we know a lot of people, and that's cool. And I think that's great that people know a lot of people. You should, right? But sometimes, at some point, you have to say, is quantity worth more than quality, right? Because here's the key of networking, right here. First of all, your network is your net worth, period. But here's the key. Networking is all about who knows you who knows what you do and how well you do it. But wait a minute, better than everybody else. And the only way they're going to know that is if you're out there talking, shaking hands, meeting people. That's where your brand comes in.
You bring up a valid point, and I'm sure you're familiar and have read Think and Grow Rich.
Yes.
Hill, right?
Yes.
But he speaks about, actually it was either him or maybe it was something I saw that Bob Proctor did, but they speak about how do you explain what you do to others. If you're not effective in letting people know, like you can always say I'm a diversity recruiter or I'm a diversity and inclusion practitioner. But what's that mean? Because when it comes back across their desk, can they explain, do they know that this is you?
That's right.
And your brand has to really be clear. And so Tiff, Tiff holds several titles, but she's a recruiting manager. But what does that mean to people? Like how do you take that information and say, okay, here's how I can support Tiffany's efforts? How's this important to her and the person I'm speaking to? And if your network, you don't even need an expansive network, but you need a very good network of people that understand what it is that you bring to the table.
And you have to know what you want.
Sure.
Because see, I meet so many people, to your point about the organizations I'm a part of and the rejuvenation of organizations that I'm a part of as well, because we have to stay focused on why we meet, right? Because you want to meet people, and that's great, but you also want to meet for purpose.
Sure.
Exactly,
Right.
Tiffany. And so to your point, Ken, which I'm glad you brought up, is that, when you're networking and people need to know who you are, how you do your thing, you have to have a strong network, you need to know what you want, right? For me, I do it a lot because, not only because I'm an entrepreneur, and you eat what you kill, right? So if you're not working, you're not eating, right? So a part of my DNA is relationships, right? So I have to be out there cultivating, maintaining relationships. That's who I am. But I will tell the person that's an introvert, or maybe the person that says, you know what, I don't see the value in networking. Here it is. Networking is the new currency.
Yes.
If you don't realize that your black book is worth more than your checkbook, then you've missed the boat on networking. Because relationships are the new currency.
Wow.
You bring up such a valid point. I think, sometimes people network they believe it's networking when they're just coming to someone and asking for things.
Sure.
Right.
And you have to be so supportive of your network.
That's right.
And, I say this after making a call to you and asking you to come on the show, but really that was just me wanting people to hear your story. I just think you have an unbelievable spirit. I think when I got off the phone with you, prior to getting off the phone, I said people really need to know who you are. And it's something that I've had a conversation with Tiffany about. We met via social media, really.
Wow.
Yep.
Things are just supposed to happen.
Yes.
And when I met her, I told her, you need a radio show.
That
And
is
then
what
I
you
ended up
told me.
circling back to her saying,
He
"You
got a
want to
radio
be on
show. Right.
So,
I
love it.
but it's like, I wasn't calling her asking her to look at a candidate for the firm she represents.
Sure.
It was like, look, if I can support you in what it is that you're trying to do, then it doesn't even have to come back through Tiffany. It will come back through Kim or whoever, but you have to be out here supporting people and just sharing, like you said, your cup runneth over. So why not help people?
Absolutely.
And that's what we're all put here to do. So prior to you coming, Tiffany and I were speaking about our guests. We had Nicole Newman here.
Yes.
We had
My
Jody
girl.
Brockington. You don't know Jody, but Jody listens to the show, so you may see her in Brooklyn.
Okay.
She's from Harlem, but you may see her in Brooklyn on Friday. Jody moves in New York City, if she's in New York City.
Okay.
But and then we had Dr. Sylvia LaFair, and of course yourself. But one of the things we spoke about was the key, the ingredient or the key characteristic of all of those people are their desire to help other people.
Sure.
And that's what you bring. I've worked with you. I know how you do it, and that's one of the things I admire most about you.
Well, thank you, Ken. I appreciate that, because I will tell you though, this is really a deposit for me, because when you asked me, Ken, to come on the show, I didn't think twice about it, because I just love being around great people. And see, when you're thinking about your network, you got to think about something. who you are around represents who you are and represents where you're going. And so, you know, I haven't worked with you in several months, but I remember what we did when we worked together.
Sure.
So, and I remember how passionate you were about and are about the community. So it was a no-brainer for me to come on the show. Yes, I want to share tools. I want to share wisdom. I want to share things that, you know, with others. But, you know, this is more really great for me, believe it or not. And I'm happy, you know, that you asked, because I feel the deposits.
Well, you know, I
no
think
question.
Our experience working together, you know, when you work and when you have two people that are passionate and opinionated on a lot of things, and you're not gonna agree on everything, but you could actually look at Kim and laugh and say, all right, we're trying to get the same thing done. Let's just find a way to get it done. And that was our experience. Like, we worked together, and it's like, look, I'm trying to get it done. You're trying to get it done. Let's just figure how we can get it done together, and instead of the 30-minute conversation that we just had.
Wait a minute, can I ask you a question? I just gotta ask, excuse me, everybody, all the listeners, because you all don't see this.
Will and I made those, by the way.
Yeah, whatever. You all made it's some cupcakes in the studio, and it's Lent, so I gave up sugar for Lent, and they have it right in front of me, and I keep looking at it like this. So I'm sorry, I just had to do that little station break. But anyway, go ahead, Ken. I'm sorry.
So speaking of Lent and giving things up in faith in general, you know, we're getting ready to close out soon, but
oh my God, already?
Yeah, already, right?
So fast.
I just wanted I want you to speak about your journey. I want you to spend maybe the next 4 minutes just speaking about your journey and kind of letting people out here know that anything is possible.
Now you all gonna make me cry on this on air. Jeez. All right. So, can you bring that up, because you know the last 4 years, you know, have included some of the most devastating, soul-wrenching times of my life. A piece of my soul is forever gone, and that's my mother, Barbara Reed. She taught me how to be the businesswoman I am today. I learned tools, no question, from some of the brightest professionals in the world. I have some of the best mentors. I have the love of many people, a wonderful father. But it's nothing like your mother. And I lost, she passed away. God decided that he needed her more than I 4 years ago, on July 31st, 2012. And November 5th, my maternal grandmother passed away from the heartbreak of losing my mother and my aunt before. October 28th, I go for my yearly mammogram, and ladies, don't put it off, go. The doctor says to me, you have an early stage of breast cancer. So I never really got to grieve, because it was time to fight, time to be strong, time to move forward. But at that moment, I chose, I'm not going to look sick, walk sick, talk sick, be sick, think sick. Because my mother was watching me. And she was watching me with her stilettos, and as fly as she always was, and as jovial as she was. And she said, Kim, take it to the max. Continue each and every day, because God got you. And so when I knew that God was going to heal me, so I went through my journey, the chemo, the radiation, the surgeries, all of those things. People telling me along the way that you're not going to be able to speak, you're not going to be able to go on the stage, you're not going to be able to do this, you're not going to be able to do all of the things that I love to do, help people. So 2-3 weeks after my first chemotherapy, I was in Las Vegas on the stage, speaking. No problem. And it was one of my best talks ever, because I poured out and in. So what I will say is this. You're going to go through life's tribulations. You're going to go through life's triumphs. But remember the 3 C's of life. Choices, chances, and changes.
It's Kimberly Reed, Career Seekers, WPPM, LP, Philadelphia. Kimberly Reed, I can't tell you how thankful I am to have you here today. How do our listeners get in touch with, follow, support Miss Kimberly Reed in the Reed Development Group?
Thank you. My social media is easy. Kimberly S. Reed, all of my social media handles, and www.redevelopmentgroup.com. My email and everything is there. Just hit me up. And Ken, Tiffany, thank you so much. I want to come back. I hope you have me back.
Definitely gonna have
We're
you
gonna
back.
pick
Yeah.
that date before you leave
And everybody,
today.
you got this. Just remember that. You got this.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm like, I'm in awe. Like, I'm just sitting here. I'm taking notes, everything. Thank you so much for being here and for sharing your story. And I can't wait for us to have another conversation with you about so many of the things that you have learned in your own career. And as a woman, I literally have so many things running through my mind right now. But you said choices, chances, and changes, and those are so essential to us knowing that all of those things are constants in our lives at different points, but we have opportunities to own different spaces and how we move in each of those 3 things. So thank you so much for being here, and I look forward to talking with you again. Thank you, Career
I'm
Seekers.
proud of you guys.
Thank
Yes.
You're doing big things.
Thank you.
We'd like to thank our guest today, Kimberly Reed of the Reed Development Group. On behalf of Philly Cam, the Career Seekers team, Tiffany Southerland, Alberta Bertolino, Will Martin, and of course your host and the world's #1 diversity recruiter, Kenneth L. Johnson.
Woo!
We'd like to thank you, the listener, the live streamer, the Facebook follower. We do it every Wednesday, 4 to 5 on WPPM FM 106.5 here in Philly. You can check us online. I know y'all saw Kev and Tiff today, so I'm sure you'll be back just based on that, all right? Next week, Donna Ford. Yeah, you heard me right. Donna Ford, founder, 1199C, and also my aunt, my mother's sister. This is what we do. It's the Career Seekers Show. Let's do it.
Nice. I love it.
Oh, hold on. Yogi, is it a wrap?
It's a wrap, Gold.
Nice.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank you
guys.
so much.
Oh my God, I hope I answered your
Oh,
question.
no. I mean,
you know what? I should have brought you in at 4:15. Well, 4:20 when you came, I should have just brought you on. I shouldn't even waited the 8 minutes because we could have did this another hour.
I know.
Yeah.
Wow, we could have, yeah.
Yeah, no, I have